Welcome back to my channel. We continue our road trip around Ireland by leaving Cork to drive to County Kerry. This episode is going to focus our travels to the Dingle Peninsula and Killarney. Originally, we were going to drive around the Ring of Kerry, which is 111 miles, but after we spoke with a local who took our tight timeline into consideration, he recommended that we drive around the Dingle Peninsula. Two hours later, we arrived at our first stop of the Dingle Peninsula Drive, which is Inch Beach. It is a blue flag beach, which means that it has high standards for cleanliness and availability of facilities. What a way to explore the Atlantic coast. Since it is summer, you can get into the water like you would at any other beach. That lifeguard station looks different from the ones that I'm used to in California. Inch Beach stretches out for 4 miles despite its name. It's just miles and miles of sand and water. Of course, I had to get my feet wet. The water was cold for me, but then again, I get cold easily. Well, that was a refreshing toe dip into the water. Now on to the rest of the Dingle Peninsula Drive. Minutes later, we arrived at the town of Dingle. It's a charming port town on the southern part of the peninsula. It was worth getting out of the car to walk around. Just look at the colorful shops. It was also lunchtime, so we decided to try something different and checked out this vegan restaurant called Time Out. Talk about a detox from all the black pudding I had for breakfast. Here's one more look at Dingle as we proceed with our route. The Dingle Peninsula is a 30-mile-long loop and must be driven in a clockwise direction. Thank goodness for that rule, which is for safety reasons, and additionally, it makes it easier for us who are used to driving on the right side of the road to concentrate on the coastal scenery. What's there to see around the Dingle Peninsula? Here's what I wrote in my travel notes. Take Sleigh Head Drive, then you'll see Irish famine cottages, the beehives, there's a chance to hold a baby lamb, there's Denmore Head, which is where The Last Jedi was filmed and has beach access. You'll pass by the Great Blasket Center, the Louis Mulcahy Pottery, and then turn inland back to Dingle. Sit back and enjoy the ragged cliffs and green pastures of Western Ireland. Along the way, we did drive by some prehistoric settlements. Just make sure to get out at the designated stops along the road so you can take in the views. Here's a showcase of the famous Sleigh Head Drive, the main roadway of the Dingle Peninsula. As you can see, the road can be windy and narrow, so proceed with caution. But hey, nothing worth pursuing is easy, right? Looks like there are some beachgoers down there. Not sure how they got to the bottom, and if we had planned this trip better, we would have brought a beach blanket and umbrella. For me, the highlight of the drive was arriving at Denmore Head, which was the filming location of the Star Wars movie The Last Jedi. You can almost imagine Luke Skywalker milking the thalasirens on the rocks. Yeah, I had to rewatch that scene. We sort of plowed through the drive quickly because we needed to get to our hotel in Killarney. There's more to do in the Dingle Peninsula with hikes and overnight stays, but I took this last-minute trip as a preview. I will tell you that I would like to return to run the Dingle Marathon, thanks to the advice of an Irish runner that I had bumped into at the Chicago Marathon later on. Before you know it, we were back in Dingletown. Now, on to our hotel in Fossa, which is right outside of Killarney. I didn't realize how green County Kerry is. After that long drive, it was nice to have dinner at our hotel. So this is what sticky toffee pudding looks like. In the summer, the sun sets late in the northern hemisphere, so we still had some light left to go for an evening stroll. We crossed the street from the hotel and explored the grounds of the famous Europe Hotel and Resort. Take in Loch Lane from this vantage point. We will visit again tomorrow from the Killarney National Park. The next day, we checked out of our hotel and drove 15 minutes to the town of Killarney. We were going to dedicate the day to exploring part of Killarney National Park, and this town is known as the town inside the park. Ha ha, and I don't mean that I'm laughing. At the center of town, you can pick up a horse carriage at the Ha Ha. Seems like this is the original green energy car. As usual, it started to rain as we were exploring by foot, and we sought refuge at the Killarney House and Garden. The exhibit was informative. Originally, the Killarney House was a mansion owned by the Earls of Kenmare and then sold to Irish-American property developer John McShane, who eventually turned it over to the Irish state in 1998. Now visitors can enjoy the grounds. Here is the secret garden. You can catch a glimpse of the McGilly Cuddy Reeks in the background. Looks like the sun is up and we can continue on our tour of the Killarney National Park. We departed from Killarney town and made our way to Ross Castle, which is part of the Killarney National Park. Remember to stay on the left side of the road. No problems with finding parking here. Here we are at Ross Castle, which is on the shores of Loch Lane. Yes, the same lake we were at yesterday evening. Ross Castle was built in the 15th century by Irish chieftain O'Donoghue Moore. I have to admit, for an old defensive structure, it's been maintained well. Get to take a walk in the woods of the national park. The park is huge and consists of lakes, woodlands, mosses, and mountains. This area became a national park after it was donated to the Irish Free State by the Muckross estate in 1932. We're only going to make a small scratch into the park. There was an old copper mine here. Back at Loch Lane. If you squint hard enough, you can make out the Europe Hotel on the other side where we were last night. Told you we only made a scratch in the park. Now, on to our next destination, which is the Muckross House and Abbey. Just gotta yield to the horses on the road. The Muckross House was built between 1839 to 1843 by the Herbert family. Its claim to fame was that it hosted Queen Victoria in 1861. Eventually, the family had a hard time maintaining the financial upkeep. I mean, this mansion looks expensive, and we're talking about a lot of land. It eventually was turned over to the Irish Free State in 1932, and now we have the Killarney National Park. You do have to pay to tour the inside of the house, but at least walking around the garden was free. We had one more stop in the Killarney National Park. It was the Muckross Friary. The Muckross Friary was founded in 1340 by McCarthy More, the Prince of Desmond. It was where the Franciscan friars worked. Much of the friary is well preserved for its age. You can go up and down the stairs and explore every nook and cranny. It truly felt like a labyrinth walking around the remains of the friary. I can only imagine what it was like in its heyday. Enough with exploring a small segment of Killarney National Park for the day, so we headed back to our car. One last look at a horse carriage. With that, we departed from County Kerry and made our way to Limerick. See you in the next video.